So, I'm going to be talking a little bit about Donald and his uh, the way he's going to be attacking Kamala Harris, which doesn't seem to be that different from the way he's been attacking everybody else over the last 10 years, which is just to lie outrageously about everything and describe her as the single biggest threat to democracy since, well, the last person he called the single biggest threat to democracy. She's gonna be awful. She's gonna destroy the country. She's gonna pull it down around your ears. She's gonna build the Death Star. All that stuff, the usual. So let's have a look at this lunatic.
So now we have a new victim to defeat. Lion Kamala Harris. Lion. Lyin apostrophe.
He's so imaginative. I love his nicknames. Lion Kamala Harris. That's clever. What was the last one, Donald? Oh, that was Lion as well, wasn't it? Brilliant.
The most incompetent and far left vice president in American history. By the way, they did a poll. She was rated the worst vice president in history. I've never seen that poll before, but
I've never seen it after either.
that's the poll. Together we will win North Carolina in an epic landslide. We're way ahead in the poll. And we will take back that beautiful White House, and we will
I think that's... you can say this is a little bit unfair, but listen to this.
And we will take back that beautiful White House, and we will...
There's a way to say the White House, and the way most people say it is the White House. They don't say that White House. I think there's a little bit of, what's the phrase? Dog whistling going on there. We're going to take back the White House and keep it from this Kamala Harris. This White House. We don't want this Kamala Harris in this White House. Yeah.
Very simply, make America great again. For 3.5 years, Lion Kamala Harris has been the ultra-liberal driving force behind every single Biden catastrophe.
I mean, she's not ultra liberal. In fact, there was a lot of concern on the left and among liberals about how unliberal she was. She was, from what I remember, she was thought of as centrist. It was quite hardline on things like law and order. So he's up to his old tricks. Everybody who doesn't support him, they're just Trotsky and Stalin and Lenin.
She is a radical left lunatic who will destroy our country. If she ever gets the chance to get into office, we're not going to let that happen. I was supposed to be nice. They say something happened to me when I got shot. I became nice.
Who said that? Nobody said that. What they said was maybe he'll become nice. Nobody said he's become nice. They can see, they can hear.
And when you're dealing with these people, they're very dangerous people. When you're dealing with them, you can't be too nice. You really
No, you can't be nice.
can't be. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
That got by far the biggest cheer of the entire speech right there. Him saying, I'm going to be horrible to this woman. Do you want me to be horrible to this woman? Yeah!
You want me to be nice.
Like, he's not mentioned policy once. He's not mentioned policy. He's not mentioned any statistics. Nothing. It's just a WWF wrestling match. He gets up there and he goes, shall I attack this woman? And they'll go, yeah, USA. And it's like they're getting a bit of a kick out of it. Like, say Orwell's Minute of Hate or Hour of Hate or whatever it was, where you get to just come on and pour all your vitriol on this one person who, right now it's Kamala Harris. A month ago it was Biden. Before that it was Hillary. It's just spite. It's a guy who was voted in out of spite. Remember that Seinfeld episode with the spite jacket where He buys this jacket and he returns it, and the only reason he wants to return it is out of spite because he didn't like the guy who sold it to him. And this is what's happened with Donald Trump. He was voted in out of spite because people just don't like the people he's opposed to. They don't like Hillary. They don't like liberals. They don't like the elites, whatever that means. And they voted this guy in out of spite. And they get to go to his rallies and they get to unleash all that spite and all that irritation and frustration and anger in a warm, secluded place. And he's their figurehead for it. He's their spite president.
Thank you. Kamala Harris is...
I love that he looks so benevolent, like he's Jesus or something, when all he's doing really is just talking about how evil everybody else is.
The most liberal elected politician in American history. Did you know that? She's an ultra-liberal politician.
I did not know that, Donald. Please tell me how you know that.
She's absolutely terrible. She's...
Oh, okay. You're not going to tell me how you know that. Fair enough.
As you know, more liberal than Bernie Sanders. Can you believe it? She's rated far more liberal than Bernie Sanders.
Well, I mean, there is a difference between liberalism and left-wing politics, right? There's quite a big difference. One is essentially about social policies. The other's about economics. One's about social liberalism. The one's about economic left-wing policies. So there's a difference. Bernie Sanders is much more concerned with class and the economy and lifting people up out of poverty, and liberals are much more concerned with social liberalism, equality, and equality of the sexes, equality of gender, equality of race, all these things. So there's a big difference. It's not, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise that she's more liberal than Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is a left-winger. He's not a liberal. And she's a liberal and not a left-winger. But, you know, it doesn't matter to these people. It doesn't matter to him. He just thinks they're interchangeable terms because he knows nothing about politics. He's been president for 4 years and he still knows absolutely nothing about politics.
And she's now trying to get rid of her record, but she can't. She's going out and saying things that she doesn't believe in if she ever...
Oh, that's terrible, isn't it, when people say things they don't mean? Politicians who do that.
Got in, she'd destroy this country so fast. So she was the border czar, but she never went to the border, right? She was appointed by this horrible president, this horrible guy. How this guy got to be president in his basement. He stayed in his basement.
I mean, he got to be president by smashing you in the election by 8 million votes. That's how he got to be president.
And we did a lot better the second time than we did the first.
And you still lost.
This guy got to be president, what they've done to this country in 3.5 years. And we're
as far as I can tell, they've improved it. Like, economically, they've improved it massively after the downturn of COVID. It's come out swinging. These are the statistics that this guy never mentions. He just talks about, oh, they've destroyed our country. They've added maggot farms in all the beautiful neighborhoods. They've built a Death Star outside Mexico, and they're going to point it at us. I don't know.
Going to turn it around, but what they've done to our country is unthinkable.
It's unthinkable because it hasn't actually happened, any of the stuff you're talking about.
As border czar, Kamala threw open our borders and allowed 20 million illegal aliens to stampede into our country.
It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like at the border, and then the gates open, and then it's just whoomph, 20 million of them come stampeding in like what's it, Roadrunner or something. Oh God, he's such a ridiculous man.
From all over the world. As vice president, she cast the tie-breaking votes that created the worst inflation in a half a century, decimating middle-class families and hurting very badly, as you know, all people in North Carolina. And by the way,
I mean, I would say that the inflation issues are a little bit more complicated than putting it all on Kamala Harris. Let's say that. I think there's something to do with some kind of war going on in Ukraine, and what with Russia being one of the largest gas contributors on Earth. COVID, some of these things happened. Like a vague, faint memory that because they didn't happen in the last 30 30 minutes, he's forgotten about them or he doesn't care about them. But, they're quite long-lasting, these issues.
Way, Laura says hello. Laura, do we love Laura? How good is Laura? She is terrific. She has done a tremendous job. I'm saying it now because if I forget it later on, they'll say he's cognitively challenged.
Okay, I think what happened there is he had a little bit of one of his verbal malfunctions, if you go back and listen.
She has done a tremendous...
See that there? She has done a... And then he realizes what he's done, and because he's got no inner world, he hasn't got a single thought that he doesn't express out loud. He has to say out loud what came to mind after he made that mistake, which was, Christ, I make these cognitive mistakes quite a lot. So he starts talking about cognitive impairment, even though that's got nothing to do with what he was actually talking about, because it's just triggered in his mind. He made this mistake, he made this cognitive error, and it triggered in his head the thought of his constant, cognitive fuck-ups, right? So he starts talking about it.
Job. I'm saying it now because if I forget it later on, they'll say he's cognitively challenged. I don't want to be cognitively, no, but I want to thank her because she's terrific. She has done a tremendous job. I'm saying it now because if I forget it later on, they'll say he's cognitively challenged.
Yeah, so I think that's what happened there. He had a little bit of a misstep, and he wanted to kind of head it off at the pass and tackle it before anybody else could point it out. So he brings up cognitive impairment out of absolutely nowhere, right? There's no reason to bring it up when he's talking about Lara, whatever her name is.
I don't want to be cognitively, no, but I want to thank her because she's unbelievable. She loves it. I'll introduce Michael in a couple of minutes, but I want to remember to introduce Lara. She's been a fantastic daughter-in-law and wife to Eric.
She probably exists in some other capacity, but that's not important.
And she happened to name her one beautiful daughter, you know what? Carolina.
Yeah, I instinctively thought he was going to say Donald and go, yeah, she called her daughter Donald after me. Isn't it great? And they'd all cheer.
Carolina. I said, which one? Which Carolina? She said, well, North, of course. No, let's call them both. Do you mind if I call them both? They've both been great, frankly. And when Kamala Harris was sent to Europe to deter Russia, what a joke that was.
Yeah, well, that's the abrupt ending of that speech. I mean, you might as well end there. It's no worse or better a place to end. It's a stream of consciousness for however long it went on. But that's a new taste of the sweet, caring Trump that's emerged after his brush with death, which apparently was just some bit of shrapnel slightly grazing his ear, and has now turned into, I almost died, I got a bullet through my ear. But no, it was just shrapnel. And that was Donald Trump previewing the kind of stuff we're going to get for the next 4 months. And I very much hope that you guys don't vote this guy back in, because I think America's better than that. Anyway, leave a like and leave some comments, and leave some comments if you hated it. I don't care, Go ahead. And subscribe if you want to see more videos. Cheers. Bye.